Alright, so in this video I'm going to be talking about self-love and why it's important. A lot of people, they get caught up in appearing more humble than others, but because you are the universe, it's okay to embrace yourself. You know, a lot of people get caught up in, they want to be small so nobody steps on them, so nobody notices their light. But I'm saying to let your line shine and appreciate that light. The beauty of being a human is you can be a star that a star can't be aware of itself, but because you're a human, you can play the game of being aware of yourself. Now we know there is no such thing as aware of self, it's just life aware of life. But it's also fun to appreciate the existence as it is. Just like there was a story of Krishna, he was walking past a floor that had like a mirror like design to it, so you could see yourself in the reflection, and immediately upon seeing his reflection, he was like, wow, like what a beautiful reflection, what a beautiful man I'm seeing. And he was talking about himself like he was in third person, because Krishna knew that he wasn't his body, but because of his body is a part of the universe, there's no harm in appreciating it, or there's no harm in loving thyself or loving thy characteristics. But as soon as we make a character around the characteristics, we can have characteristics but not a character, because the only true character is God. God is everything and nothing at the same time. He is us and we are him. But when we try to make a separate character, that's when we suffer. But when we don't take life seriously, then we can appreciate ourselves all that we want, because we know we don't even exist, so there's nothing to worry about. But the reason people will get scared of appreciating themselves is they get scared of, it's like they're scared to think highly of themselves because they're scared that that opinion of themselves will be lowered. But when you treat everything like a child and you're like, even your opinions of yourself you don't take seriously, then it's just like, oh, I'm showing myself love and that's it, let me move on. And it's like, when a true self-love is going beyond the individual I and accepting that everybody is God and accepting the godliness in yourself. Because we all come from the one source, we are all godly. But immediately when we try to define ourselves with words instead of just loving ourselves and just admiring ourselves, then we get held back. But when we just think about it, when you were with a lover, like, you know, you were just purely admiring their beauty, purely admiring their characteristics, purely admiring, you're one with that lover. And you should be one with yourself. You should appreciate your characteristics, but you shouldn't make an identity around the characteristics. You shouldn't, just because you do a good action doesn't mean you're a good person, because you can be a bad person tomorrow. So, and then when you create a bad act, you might hate yourself. But true self-love is accepting yourself for what you are, which is God. God doesn't do right or wrong, he just is. And you need to view yourself that way. You just are. So, you know, you shouldn't get caught up in trying to appear more humble than people. People who try to appear more humble than other people are the biggest egoists, because they're so worried. People who want to appear humble, they're still in the game of life. They're still attached to the game of life. They still want to be perceived a certain way. So it's like, I don't have the balls or the strength to be myself and be confident. So let me pretend I'm humble so people respect that. They still want, it's like the person who, both, it's like the overly humble person and the overly overly showboating person are the same, one and the same. Both want attention from people in different ways. So don't get caught up in people trying to force you to be humble and be what you are not. Express yourself freely. You know, it's like when I'm looking in the mirror, I love appreciating that this body happened to be what it is and I look this way, you know? It's like, what is wrong in that? What is wrong in appreciating who you are? What is wrong in appreciating the characteristics and that you have worked so hard to attain? And that not that you worked hard, but life made you. Why not appreciate what life accidentally made you into what you are? You're literally a miracle, so why not appreciate that miracle? It's amazing. It's like, who else is gonna love you but you, you know? It's like your whole life, you know, and even if you found the one, either they'll die, or, you know, you won't be able to talk to them anymore because of conditional circumstances. You know, anybody you love, it's only for a time. You know, you love certain characteristics about the person which brought you together, but if those characteristics go away, no matter how good they are, you know, that'll be done for. So you really need to realize that you are physically alone in this world, you know, and that'll prevent you from giving too much, because it's like when you fully love yourself, now you can fully give it to others. But when you don't truly love yourself and appreciate yourself, now you want to hate on others, and now you can't truly give people their dues or their praise because you hold back on giving praise to yourself. When you don't care about giving a lot of praise to yourself, then you give love and praise to others, and it ends up coming back to you. Because it's like, why not show love to yourself? I can't stand those people like who are so focused on being humble. Like, if you're confident in yourself, then express it. I'll tell you a story, and the people who are smart enough to listen to the end, they're lucky, because this story is life-changing. But there was a story of a beggar. Well, that was his worldly occupation, but we all know he's beyond that. But Emperor, he used to call himself Emperor Ram. He was a mystic. He was an Indian mystic. He was a sage. and he used to call himself Emperor Ram. But the people in India didn't mind that because they've had so many, not so many, but so I love India because there's so many examples of there's a lot of sages in India because India is not culturally focused on materialistic things. A lot of their spirituality is embedded in their culture, so they didn't judge Ram or Sage Ram for calling himself Emperor Ram, because they realized that they see now obviously there are some people who are probably clowning him for calling him Emperor Ram, but the people who, there's a reason I'm talking about him today. There's a reason he's remembered, because the guy was born in like the early 1900s. But the main point of that story is that it's like nobody's gonna crown you but yourself. Nobody is gonna lead. I mean, I can help you realize that you are God, but nobody is gonna help you realize that you're God other than the work that you put in. And even right now, you're putting in work just by listening to me. And it's like nobody else is gonna be able to crown you with enlightenment other than you, because you are always perfect and you are that. Nobody can tell God what he is. He just is as he is. So be as you are. Don't let anybody define that. Just be as you are. And another point I want to make about that Sage Ram story is notice how he didn't have anything, but he still called himself Emperor Ram. That's because a true king is the king whether he's on a throne or in a kingdom or not. Crown yourself king and crown yourself God now, because you are God. Be proud. Sihar Meshwar talked about how Krishna from childhood was saying that he was God, but you are ashamed to call yourself God. Love yourself as much as you want, because you are an expression of the one source. Be that.